Hey, what's happening guys? This is KMC and I thought I'd re-upload with instructions how to build the Mickey Mouse house, and I will do the others with the instructions. So as I'm starting, I'm going to place out 8 blocks. I'm using red wool, man. 8 blocks, and then I'm going to go across and I'm going to put 6 out in a diagonal line, and then I'm going to go back across to do 8 again, and then I'm going to spin round, do another 6. And then I'm going to do a line of 8 and back again. I'm going to do another 6. Spin round, do my final 8, and then after my 8, spin round, do another 6. Guys, I'm going to place 1, and then I'm going to leave a space of 2. Place 2 blocks, leave another space of 2. Now you want your glass blocks, and you're going to place down 3 side by side. So you've got 3 in one row, 3 in the next. So you've got 6 windows sat next to each other. And then we're going to fill back up with one line going over the top end to form our fully formed wall. So it's 5 in height, and we're going to go around and we're going to build up all these layers up to 5, apart from the front. So you'll notice with me at the moment, I build up my one side and I'll drag it across until I reach my other side. Because we know the height, but we still got to leave room to build on the front of our Mickey Mouse. So same follows, we're just going to build it all up to 5 blocks at level. Then we're going to do the same this side. We're going to place 1, leave a space of 2, place 2, leave a space of 2, and place our last one. And do the same with the windows, 3 in a row, 2 rows, making it 6 sat together. Do that twice, and then we do the same as the other side. We just fill up, and then we do 1 row over the top. Now for this part guys, I'm just going to leave you fill up till level 5 a minute. And now we got our level, we're now going to place 1 block, and then we're going to come out to the side of it. So we're building inwards. And then let me just take off my side. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a ladder effect. We keep placing 1 in and then 1 back inwards, if that makes sense. And then we're just going to knock off the inside corners. And make sure you do this guys, because honestly, when you forget, it confuses you and your next layer starts going on a little bit weirder. So it's always easier to knock them off before you end up with, like, at the end you end up miscounting. And that's how, like in my first one, I made a couple of mistakes. I've only just noticed recently that where I told everyone to do like 8 lines, on some I made 7, on some I made lower. It just the way it goes when you're doing it, and it's the same time as actually creating it. You end up making these mistakes and you carry on with them. So anyway guys, we're going to repeat this all the way around. I'm going to do it for 5 layers. So this will be layer number 1, and we want 4 more layers on top, stepping in every time. So we'll place our 1 block, and then we'll come inwards and we always make sure we knock off them lava blocks, and we do the same all the way around. We just keep on stepping it in. And that was layer number 2. Now move on to number 3, and then another 2 times afterwards, which is quite easy to tell because if you look at the corners, we're now on layer 3 and it actually shows the 3. So every time you're going up one, you're losing another corner piece. Taking my own advice, gotta knock them out, because the last time I done it, it confused the hell out of me once I got inside. Started couldn't work out why I was uneven and unlevel, and it is important to just take them off. This will now be our 4th layer, so we've got one more to go after this one. See, I'm getting confused here because I'm looking at 2 knuckles there and I can see 3, but I forget that I've actually still got to build off the 3rd one. But when you're building like this, it does get confusing, but only because you're not carrying on. But at the same time, if you go too far and you can't miss it, you end up confusing yourself later. So it's easier just to do it right the first time. So we're going to do our final layer now. This will be our 5th layer up, and this will now be our last one, and that will be, we'll just go around on the inside, same as the other 4 layers, except this time we'll be filling it in afterwards. We're just gonna literally fill it in. That is our first main part done, before we move on to the front door. You know, the shoe. Now guys, I will try and remake all of my other ones. It is hard though, because even with this, I'm remaking it, and it's gonna be somewhat different, even if it's the fact that it's just more accurate than the last one. I don't know why it happens. Every time I try and remake my own stuff, it just does it. The first time you create it in such a way that it wasn't created in a way. So you want to step inwards on this one, remembering where we've already left the hole. And basically we're just coming outwards like we did on the roof. And then from there we're going to go over to our black wall. And we're just going to place it just on the inside until we get to the outside ones. So we leave a gap of 1 on each end, and we're coming out 3. So we've left see where I've left 1 as a gap, and then I've joined on. Now on my last one, I ended up with a thinner hole, and that's where I went wrong on the outside. I say wrong, but it was right at the time. So we now changed over to our yellow wall. And we're just going to do an outline back round it as if it's parallel with the red one opposite. And then with our yellow wall we're going to come out again, but this time keep the same height. So you ended up with a row of 4 long to then 6 long. And now we're going to go to 8 long. And we're going to do this for 4 rows coming outwards, and we're going to go up 10. Now there will be 11th on top, but we'll leave that until afterwards. So we're just going to go 10 rows up, making 4 rows long ways coming outwards. Do the same on the other side. We're just going to drag our top one along, and we can pretty much do this all across the back and across the top. Now guys, you don't have to add that extra row. I just prefer it there because I think it looks more like a boot hole, if you know what I mean. Sometimes I forget that I'm actually just, because I just do it off the top of my head, I forget to tell you what I'm doing. So basically guys, I'm just filling it in. And now I'm gonna leave a gap of 1 around the edge and a gap of 1 at the bottom as well. Running all the way across, remembering to leave 1 gap at the end, and then you can fill all of this in. Then we're going to come in 1 again and leave a gap of 1 all the way round, and then we're going to come back and fill it in. Now on this guys, I want you to come in 1 but outwards 1, if you know what I mean. Inside but outside. As confusing as I managed to make that sound. And I would not worry about leaving a gap there. You can go all the way up to the top of the shoe. If you see what I've done there, I've done 2 each side for 2 blocks high, and then I've done 4 all the way across, with then 2 in the middle on the next row. And then I'm going to take this shape and I'm just going to fill it in. And obviously put a couple of doors on the front. Basically, that is our main part of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Now I'm going to go up and I'm going to do, I did tell you guys go all the way up if you wanted, and basically I've gone 1 in, all on the edges but meeting on the very corners like I've done here. And I'm basically gonna go all the way in the middle, fill it up. I was just trying to really give it a bit more depth as a shoe. And guys, that does pretty much bring us to the end of part 1. Please let me know if that was better for yourselves to follow. I know we've covered a lot more in this part because now I know exactly how to build it. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I shall catch you in our next part.